To see how the dots connect through time, you must collect, analyze, and sort different types of information, which isn't easy. For example, let's imagine a day in which 8 outcomes occur. Some are good, some bad. Let's illustrate this day as shown, with each type of event represented by a letter and the quality of the outcome represented by its height. We're going to be reading Ray Dalio's Principles. We might not be able to read as much as usual, but we are still going to start the week off well, regardless of the technical challenges and everything else that might be happening. Not every Monday is going to start off smoothly, even though, for example, I like a really good start to the Monday. We are not always going to have what we want, and so we need to roll with the punches. We need to be okay with that. And we haven't even started reading, and the learnings and the motivational ideas have already started flowing. So glad that you are here to join us, and thank you for bearing with us with all of the little challenges that we had to start off with. But we are now completely where we need to be. So Ray Dalio's Principles, we're up to 5.3, synthesize the situation through time. Here we go. To see how the dots connect through time, you must collect, analyze, and sort different types of information, which isn't easy. For example, let's imagine a day in which 8 outcomes occur. Some are good, some bad. Let's illustrate this day as shown, with each type of event represented by a letter and the quality of the outcome represented by its height. In order to see this day this way, you must categorize outcomes by type, signified by letters, and quality, the higher up the graph, the better, which will require synthesizing a by and large assessment of each. To make the example more concrete, imagine you're running an ice cream shop and the W's represent sales, the X's represent customer experience ratings, the Y's represent press and reviews, the Z's represent staff engagement, etc. Keep in mind that our example is a relatively simple one, just 8 occurrences over one day. From the chart on the right, you can see that it was a great day for sales, because the W's were at the top, and a bad day for customer experience, the X's. You might conjecture why. Maybe a crowd-generated sales produced long lines. And there's a quick look at that image there. So you can see a couple of letters on the side, from good to bad. Excuse me. And there is an expanded version. Need to go this way. For it to be on the big O. There we go. Now let's look at what a month of workdays looks like. Confusing, huh? And then you got good at the top, bad at the bottom, and time down the bottom, and it goes across for the month. And that is then all of those weeks. And then the chart below plots just the type X dots, which you can see are improving. So the X's are moving to the top of the page, heading in the right direction. There we go. Everybody can see it now. Very good. And we can keep reading now. People who are good at pulling out such patterns of events are rare and essential. But as with most abilities, synthesizing through time is only partially innate. Even if you're not good at it, you can get better through practice. You'll increase your chances of succeeding at it if you follow the next principle. Part A. Keep in mind both the rates of change and the levels of things and the relationships between them. When determining an acceptable rate of improvement for something, it is its level in relation to the rate of change that matters. I often see people lose sight of this. They say it's getting better, without noticing how far below the bar it is and whether the rate of change will get it above the bar in acceptable time. If someone who has been getting grades of 30s and 40s on the test raised their scores to 50 over the course of a few months, it would be accurate to say that they are getting better, but they would still be woefully inadequate. Everything important in your life needs to be on a trajectory to be above the bar and headed towards excellence at an appropriate pace. The lines in the chart on the next page show how the dots connect through time. A's trajectory gets you above the bar in an appropriate time frame. B's does not. To make good decisions, you need to understand the reality of which of these two cases is happening. So here you can see a graph, and it's going to be a mirror image for the people on Bigo. But the top line says excellent bar, and the red line below it says acceptable bar. Now, if you are growing at the level of A, then you are going to reach that excellent bar before the end of the time, so the end of the graph. And if you are on the path of B, then you obviously don't even make it to acceptable by the end of that graph. Okay, part B, be imprecise. And that is probably something that most people might have a bit of challenge with. So you definitely want to be able to make sure that everything that you do is going to be in relation to the time that you want to achieve it. A lot of us set goals and set unrealistic timeframes for when we want to achieve it. So we need to either be more realistic and set it out a little bit further, or push ourselves and create more of a stretch goal so that we can achieve it sooner than we think, so that we can achieve the excellence that we want, achieve the goals that we want, achieve the things that we want sooner than we really want to. And there are certain techniques and strategies that you can use in order to do that. So for example, I have a 7-year plan up on my wall, and that 7-year plan, I've already achieved most of those things. And just by writing it down and being in the right state when you are writing that down, so that you're very, very clear on the goal and you have set your intentions in a very clear manner, then you are going to be able to achieve things more quickly than you often expect to be able to do it. And that is what this chapter is about. So be imprecise. Understand the concept of by and large and use approximations, because our education system is hung up on precision. The art of being good at approximations is insufficiently valued. When I was in school, we learned to approximate maths values. And so if you want to be good at maths, one good thing to be able to do is to approximate and to guess what the answer will be. Even if it's not totally accurate, it will give you a sense of whether numbers are correct or not. So let's say that I ask you to tell me what 12 by 12 is. Now, you already know, you can estimate 10 by 10 is 100. So it's going to be only just a little bit more than 100. So if you put it into the calculator, you type 12 by 12, and it gives you an answer of 522. You will know that there is a mistake there somewhere, because it needs to be close to that 100. It cannot be 500 something. So you want to be good at estimating, because then you can see whether there are mistakes or whether there are errors. You don't have to get the perfect answer, but it will at least tell you whether it is way off and whether there's an error in typing the things into the calculator to get that answer. So for example, when asked to multiply 38 by 12, most people do it the slow and hard way, rather than simply rounding 38 up to 40, rounding 12 down to 10, and quickly determining that the answer is about 400. Look at the ice cream shop example and imagine the value of quickly seeing the approximate relationships between the dots versus taking the time to see all the edges precisely. It would be silly to spend time doing that, yet that's exactly what most people do. By and large is the level at which you need to understand most things in order to make effective decisions. Whenever a big picture, by and large statement is made and someone replies, not always, my instinctual reaction is that we are probably about to dive into the weeds. For example, into a discussion of the exceptions rather than the rule. And in the process, we will lose sight of the rule. To help people at Bridgewater avoid this time waster, one of our just out of college associates coined a saying I often repeat. When you ask someone whether something is true and they tell you that it's not totally true, it's probably by and large true. So it is very, very good to be able to approximate and to come up with quick decisions. Even if it's not 100% perfect, it will give you enough information to be able to move forward and to start the process. C, remember the 80-20 rule and know what the key 20% is. The 80-20 rule, otherwise known as the Pareto rule or the Pareto ratio, states that you get 80% of the value out of something from 20% of the information or effort. And thank you for the hearts, by the way. I can see lots and lots of hearts flying up, and lots of amazing people have been joining the Bigo. With all the technical difficulties, I haven't been saying hello to everybody as much as I otherwise would have. But it seems that I'm getting a lot more love than usual, even though we had all of those technical issues. And Sunnyvale, thank you so much. 100 hearts. I can see them still flying up. And it is so great having you and Layalal. And let's have a look who else has been joining. Kurt Lucky, I know that you join quite often. And Kat and Yuan Juan. And lots of other amazing people who have been joining. Thank you so much. Crime 007 and GN as well just recently. Okay, let's finish these two sections and then we will be able to do 5.4 tomorrow. It's also likely that you're able to exert 80% of your effort getting the final 20% of value. Understanding this rule saves you from getting bogged down in unnecessary detail once you've gotten most of the learning you need to make a good decision. So 80-20. So 20% of what we do is going to get us 80% of the results. So we spend 80% of our time wasting time doing things that are not really going to make a big difference. So if we can learn to identify that 20% and just focus on that 20%, then a large part of our work has been done. So this is something that we need to do in order to be able to create that success. And it's something that we need to practice and get good at. But learn about and understand the 80-20 Pareto principle, and you will definitely be able to start seeing the difference, because you will be able to work a little bit less but get even greater results. And it seems counterintuitive, but this is how the world works. And finally, be an imperfectionist, which is the opposite of what I was working on when I was a child. I was a very good imperfectionist, and then I worked on becoming a perfectionist, and I realized how challenging and how it prevents you from achieving your goals. Perfectionists spend too much time on little differences at the margins at the expense of the important things. There are typically just 5 to 10 important factors to consider when making a decision. It is important to understand these really well, though the marginal gains of studying even the important things past a certain point are limited. So don't look at doing anything perfectly. You just want to get the basics done so that you have enough information to be able to make a decision. You want to be able to get just enough work done so that people are going to be happy enough with the service level and you can improve it later. So you don't want to be a perfectionist in anything. You want to get started and improve along the way. Now, obviously, if you're an aircraft manufacturer, you don't want to send a plane into the air that isn't fully flight worthy. However, when it comes to businesses and different other things that are not life or death, you can start with something that isn't perfect and then get people to give you feedback in order to be able to improve on it. So there are different ways of doing things. You do not have to do things perfectly. And very often being perfectionistic is going to hinder you from achieving your goals and moving forward, because it's going to keep you bogged down in something. One thing that I used to do with clients all the time was I would get them to write a business plan, and I would get them to then not write it perfectly. Some people spend 6 months writing a business plan. I would get them to write a business plan in one day. Very short, very quick, sometimes even less than a day. Then I'd get them to take it to the bank. And I'd say, look, this is my business plan. If I wanted to get this approved, what would I need to fix, correct, or change? So now you go into the bank, and the bank will tell you what you need to change. So now you can have that business plan done within 2 to 3 days, as opposed to working on it for 6 months and then still having it rejected by the bank. So what we really want to do is we want to avoid being perfectionist, and we want to work smarter, not harder. We want to find the shortcuts and be more effective. And that is what we have been talking about today. So we're going to leave it at that. I need to get ready to go and do all the other things that I need to do to achieve my goals. Working on some very interesting marketing things and other things in order to be able to get a simulator project that I am working on. So a new version of that to a whole new level. And also doing some things with regards to my investing. So I am very excited about that. What are you excited about? I'm looking forward to hearing from more of you. Hope you're ready for a great day as well. I want to say thank you for joining. If you like these videos, you can find the recordings on YouTube. If you go to the Passive Cash Flow Club, you'll be able to find us there. You can find the recordings if you missed the beginning of the book and you'd like to watch me reading the book and giving my commentary. You can find it at the Passive Cash Flow Club. Make sure that you subscribe because we also do question and answer. And then you'll be notified when we are answering your questions. So you can send your questions through to Instagram at business_team_6_official. And I would love to hear from you and get to know you a little bit better, what you do, how you work and what you do. I can see that there is a lot of things coming from Mafia EJ and Lyal. Not sure how to pronounce that. I will get back to you all in just a second. But feel free to send your questions through with regards to the economy, investing, passive income, all of those different kinds of things. And I'm happy to answer those and create videos for you. And if you ask a question, make sure that you're subscribed so that you get notification for when that video comes out. If you are not asking a question, that's also fine, but make sure you subscribe because it might be a question that I answer that will help you and help answer one of the questions. I'm going to quickly plug in the computer because it is complaining that it does not have enough power and will die otherwise. So it has been absolutely amazing having you all. If you're interested in some of the things that we run, we have simulation nights, game nights, we have mastermind events, and we also have what are they called, networking events. So if you'd like to join us for some of those as well, feel free to reach out on Instagram and we'll get back to you and let you know how you can come and join us. And it's great for all of you, great to have all of you here, and appreciate you all joining for the reading of Ray Dalio's Principles with the Ideas in order to be able to help you achieve your success. And okay, I am going to start heading off and say hello to everybody on Bigo, and we'll put the recording up on YouTube. And I appreciate you all being here. Remember to make the switch to unlock your rich, and you will be able to start seeing greater results in your life. There's a shortcut and a better and more effective way of doing everything. And I'll see you all next time.